Honestly, it's so typical that when I go to start filming a video, I get hiccups. I'm gonna have to sort that out because I can't be dealing with hiccups while I'm trying to film a video. I thought they'd gone, but they hadn't. Easy tip to get rid of hiccups. Hold your breath, take 5 steps. I think they're gone. Crushed it. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, hello, welcome, my name is Charlotte, and if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe because why not? I'm just stealing Andrew's intro. Here we are today, as you can tell by the title, with an unhaul. And I have planned this unhaul for quite a bit, but I feel like it's kind of fitting in the time that I'm filming this, because the day before I'm filming this, Biden won. We love to see it. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be unhauling books like Democracy Unhauled Donald Trump. I'm just so happy. I think we all are so happy that Donald Trump is out. I think, without further ado, I'm just going to unhaul these books. I don't actually know how many I've got. I'd say about 15. Maybe a bit more. A lot of booktubers just do an unhaul when they want to, and then they go to their shelves then to do the unhaul. I do unhauls gradually. I know when I want to get rid of a book and then I'll put it on a separate shelf ready for an unhaul. These have built up over time. I haven't just suddenly decided or realised I wanted to unhaul them. So maybe a couple of them I have, but the majority of them I've wanted to unhaul for quite a bit, but I've waited to film a video before I can actually get rid of them. But now the charity shops are closed because lockdown. I could have been out of focus, but I think that's a problem when my hair kind of covers my face. Also, my hair probably looks a bit wet. It's just because I had a shower and didn't have time to dry it. And this is the first time I'm wearing heavy makeup like this. And I did it for you guys, so you're welcome. But I think, without further ado, because I rambled for like 5 minutes now, and obviously including the hiccups, I'll jump straight into this unhaul. So the first book that I'm unhauling, I never thought I would, but I read this book quite a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and loved it. But over the years, as I've learnt more and understood more about the trans community, I've realised that this book ain't good. It ain't it, chief. And that is The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. This is a book about somebody realising that they are trans and wanting to transition. But the reason why I'm unhauling and why it's kind of problematic is that Lisa Williamson, first of all, isn't trans, and then second of all, the back literally says, David longs to be a girl. Trans people don't want to be another gender. They are the other gender. They are the other gender that they weren't assigned to or weren't born out of birth. If you know what I mean? I wanted to reread this book a couple of years ago just to see if I still liked it and see what it was like. But I can't be bothered to waste my time. Even though I enjoyed it when I was younger and I didn't know too much about the trans community, I didn't know a lot and I didn't understand what was problematic and what wasn't. Some of these books I'll collectively put together because they're part of a series, and here we have 3 books of a series that I started. I DNF'd the second book because I just got bored and didn't care, and that is the Shatter Me series. So we've got Shatter Me, we have Unravel Me, and then we have the bind up of Unite Me, which is Destroy Me and Fracture Me. I liked Shatter Me. It was alright, it was good. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I actually quite enjoyed the first story that I read in this one, I think Destroy Me. That wasn't actually too shabby. I quite enjoyed it, I'm not gonna lie. But then I got to Unravel Me and I was like, do I care? No. So I'm unhauling them. I don't need these. I wanted to read them because they were popular on BookTube, and also the TV show that is going to be coming out who knows when. They obviously haven't started filming it yet. But I just don't care. I don't need them because I don't care. Camera battery died, so sorry for any angle changes or any lighting changes. The next book is one of those rare books I've unhauled from my TBR, from my physical TBR. And I don't usually do that because I always kind of hold on to the hope that I'm going to read it. And then eventually I do end up reading quite a lot of the books on my TBR, even the older ones. But this one, I don't know why I bought it. I think I bought it because I heard one booktuber, who I don't even think I watch anymore, talk about it years ago, picked it up, been like, I'll read it at some point because one booktuber talked about it. Why do I sound like Mary from Ghosts?
Oh, don't you worry about me. I've got something up my sleeves.
Maybe I am Mary from Ghosts. I just look back and go, why did I buy it? Because I look at the book and I go, I don't even think I'm interested in this. Like, yes, it's kind of cool, but I don't think I'm interested in this book. And that is Soulless by Gail Carriger, which is the first book in the Alexa Tower body. I don't know. All I know about this book, it might be like punk, what's the steampunk, I was about to say punk rock, steampunk, set in obviously the olden times. When is it set? Well, you can tell by her clothing that it's not like modern, and I think it's got to do with vampires, so I feel like that was the only thing that kind of I held on to, the only thing that I was like, maybe I will want to read this book. But I have no cares for this book at all, like at all. I think I recently seen like one person talk about it on BookTube. I just picked it up because it was a book that one person talked about on BookTube. Yes, I still do that kind of, but I make sure that I'm definitely interested in the plot of the books. When I started watching BookTube, and even like up to a couple of years ago, if a BookTube had talked about a book, it would go on my TBR, and that's that. But now I'm a lot more picky, and I will only put a book on my TBR if a few people have talked about it and really liked it, and if I still like the concept and the premise sounds good. That's the only way I will put a book on my TBR. Back then, that wasn't the deal. That's why this one is leaving me, because I don't care. I don't think I was ever going to read it. I always saw it and just went, that's on my TBR. The next book that I'm unhauling is one that I read and did enjoy, but it's just one of those books I'm just looking on my TBR going, I don't really remember too much about you, and I don't really care too much. So I liked you, but I just don't need you on my shelves anymore, and that is The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I like Patrick Ness. I've read the Chaos Walking trilogy and loved it, and I'm so excited / begging and dying for that film, and whenever we get bleak steals, I'm freaking out. It's not that I don't like Patrick Ness and I don't like his writing style, it's just I don't have a care for this book anymore, and even though I did enjoy it, I just don't think I will ever pick it up again, or I look at it and just go, don't really need it anymore. It's a fun book about the people who are not the chosen ones. It's about all those other random people in the town who have to deal with all the chosen ones going off and doing their quests. And it was good, but I just didn't love it enough for me to want to keep it. The next two books are by one author that I have unhauled some of their books before, probably my last book unhaul. And I kept these two because one of them I've read and did enjoy, and the other one is connected to that book that I just wanted to read just because I was curious, but then I realised I don't care. That is Carry On and Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I've been meaning to get rid of her books, all of her books. I have got rid of all the other books I had of her, but I kept on to these two, as I said, because I read Carry On and I enjoyed it back in the day. And then I wanted to read Fangirl, and I kept a hold of Fangirl because I was like, you know, it makes sense to maybe try and read Fangirl, but I don't care. I just don't have the motivation to pick it up. I think I just need to let them go, even though I did enjoy this, but I don't give a damn about it anymore. Also, the one thing with Carry On is I am kind of offended now that obviously we know that she's problematic as hell and that we have finally accepted that. I am very annoyed that she decided to name at least the first two books in this series Carry On and then Wayward Son. And as a #1 Supernatural fan, and I forgot what the third book is called. Is it Anyway the Wind Blows? Isn't she taking it from Bohemian Rhapsody? Because I was thinking she could write 2 more books in this series. I'm not saying that I want her to, but if she wanted to, she should have named them. So you had Carry On, and they had Wayward Son, and then she should have done the next one, There'll Be Peace, and the next one should be When You Are Gone. I just feel like it would have made sense. The next book is the first in a series that I read and I enjoyed the book, not the series. I got to the third book of the series and DNF'd it, and then I have unhauled the second and third book and the novella bind up of that series, but I kept on to the first book because I was like, I did enjoy the first book, maybe I want to keep it for memes, but I just don't care and I just don't need it, and that's Serena Glass. If you did see my last unhaul, which was a few years ago, but I will link it in the few months, I won't say a few months, I will link it in the description below. I, as I said, did unhaul the other books in the series I had and just kept on to this one because I didn't enjoy it and it's just nice to have it, but I don't care because I'm not going to reread this series. First of all, didn't finish it, and second of all, I'm not going to want to continue on with it, so what's the point of rereading it, if you know what I mean. Sorry, Sarah J Maas, Serena Glass fans. I still like the ACOTAR series, just Serena Glass just didn't vibe with me. I didn't really like it. I kind of liked the first book, it was just the third book I got to and I was like, boring. The next one follows in the same veins as Serena Glass. I got to book 3 in the series and then DNF book 3, and then got rid of books 2 and 3 in my last unhaul, and then I kept on to the first book because of memes, and now I just don't care, and that's Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I enjoyed the first and second book, and I just got to the third, and I think I left too long between reading the second and third. Then when I got to the third, I was like, what's going on? But I did enjoy the first book, I think, because the same with Throne Glass. I'm not going to reread this or this series, so why am I going to keep it? The next book that I'm getting rid of is one that I started reading like a year ago, and then just couldn't, and DNF'd it. And then I read it or tried to read it again, I can't remember when, maybe March or May time. It was basically the first book that I read for my This versus That series, so I'll leave that playlist linked in the description below. Thought I would enjoy it a bit more, that I could dedicate some more time to it, but I got maybe a third of the way through and was like, I hate this book. And that is Zenith by Sasha Ellsberg and Lizzie Cummings. Look, I like Sasha. I've already said this so many times. This is not a dig at Sasha. She's an amazing woman. She's a great person. I love her. I've been watching her for years. But I could not stand this book. I'm going to be, it was terrible, the characters were terrible, the structure was terrible, it was just terrible. Terrible, terrible. So I don't need it. If I think a book is terrible, why would I keep it? The next book that I'm getting rid of, I think is one that I feel like I should keep, but then I'm not gonna. It's because it's not modern classic, but it's a very well-known book, and the film is very well known as well. And the only reason why I'm getting rid of it is because the author is slightly problematic and kind of supported J.K. Rowling when she said some stuff a few years ago. And he just doesn't seem like a good guy. He wrote a good book, and the film that came out of this book is really good as well. And that is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. I liked this book. It got me hella emotional, and the film gets me even more hella emotional. But if I want to relive the story, I'll just watch the film, even though I don't think I ever want to rewatch that film, even though I have rewatched it many times. I don't see myself rereading it. I don't really want to keep this book if the author is problematic and supports She Who Must Not Be Named. The next book is one that I read for the Owls readathon, so back in April, and I enjoyed it when I read it. But then literally like a week after I finished it, stuff came out about the author, and I was like, oh great! But I kept onto the book and kind of still kept onto the feelings I had about the book. And then a few months down the line, after I kind of distanced myself and kind of the thoughts I had for the book and the likeness I had for the book kind of I was distanced from it, you know, I can't really remember it and my hair is a mess. You know when you read a book and then a few months later you just don't really feel any emotional connection to it, so even though you might have liked it, you know what I mean? So that was when I kind of finally took the plunge and was like, yeah, I can get rid of it now. And that is A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. We must all know what Mackenzie Lee is like. The book was good, there was good representation in it, but at the end of the day, I don't like her, and I don't think many of us do, so I don't want to hold on to this book, and I'm not going to continue on with the series. It's very nice, it's a nice floppy paperback, and the final book that I'm getting rid of is technically another one that was on my TBR, so I was kind of lying when I was talking about Soulless. This is one that's on my TBR. I wanted to read this and some other of these books for a while, but then the author took to Twitter, went Twitter crazy and went,
trans people don't have rights and only women menstruate and blah blah blah.
I think we all know what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about. So I'm getting rid of The Cuckoo's Calling by not that person, because that's not their real name. Joanne, I don't care. I always wanted to read more of their books when I was growing up, because obviously I loved Harry Potter and I just wanted to see what she was like as a writer outside of Harry Potter. And I never got round to it then. And then I just saw this in the charity shop, was like, oh perfect, I'll pick it up. And then she just made me hate her, so I don't need this and I don't want to read from her. I know I didn't give her really any of my money by buying this, and I could just read it and then just crap on it, but I'm not going to because I just don't have the energy and the time. So those are all the books I'm unhauling. I technically could have done this book a little bit further down into the year and done it like a pre-Christmas unhaul, because usually I do that, ready for when I get books for Christmas. But I just needed to get rid of these books, and I wanted to film this video because I feel like it was fitting. You know, unhauling these books as Donald Trump's getting unhauled. He's gonna get hauled out of the White House. Like he's not gonna go easy. But in all seriousness, I just want to say to all my American watchers who are obviously eligible to vote and did vote for Biden, thank you. Thank you so much. And you did it, and I'm so happy and so proud of you. I'm just so happy for you, because there's so many people now that can just breathe knowing that Trump can't do anything else for the next 4 years, that he can't take people's rights away and just do what he did before, which is nothing but then so much bad stuff. I'm so happy for all of you, and I think this is just a moment that we can just breathe. I do also want to say that just because I'm happy that Biden's won, I'm not saying that Biden is the perfect president, because he's not. He's just not. But it's that thing of the lesser of two evils. But then when people are like, yeah, but it's not like Biden's a good person, but yeah, but he's better than Trump. Anyone is better than Trump. We just needed to get Trump out. And if that meant electing someone who's not perfect, but is better, that's what we had to do. So we still have a lot of work to do, and I'm really hoping that Biden can undo and change and help and rebuild stuff that Trump just broke down and got rid of. Trump is out. This is amazing news. I'm so happy. Even though I'm not American, I honestly just spent the past week, or while the election's been going on, so tense. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you're new around here, do not forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, what your opinions are on me unhauling these books. So I think that I said all that I need to, and I think I've just gone over into a second clip, so this next clip is going to be tiny. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.